Hi everyone and welcome back to the Colour Cave. It's Jem here. Today we're going to have a little bit of fun and I'm setting myself a little bit of an art challenge. And this is basically because you guys are so generous and you've been sending me lots of nice little things to my PO box, which is very, very much appreciated. So I thought we would take just one or two of those things and see if we can figure out a way to make some art just for fun. So we'll get to top down view and we can get going. So I'm in kind of a fun mood today and I'm feeling quite rebellious. I have sacked off my work to film this video because let's face it, art stuff's way more fun than dealing with cattle diseases. There's no two ways about that. So I've set myself a challenge and there are rules because unless there's rules then it's not really a challenge. And this surrounds the generosity of you guys once again. You will know recently, well I say recently, it was like Christmas time, I bought myself one of these really dinky little Arteza watercolour sketchbooks, and in the back of this is a little plastic pocket, you know, so that you can keep things in, like a keepsake pocket. Over the last little while, some of you have been sending me paint samples just so that I can try them out, which is so lovely. And what I found is that some of them actually fit in the pocket in the back of this little travel sketchbook. So my challenge today is to try and paint something using only these paint dots that have been sent to me by you guys. So I'll just give you a quick show of what's here. I have been sent these, and I think it was Lioness Feather that sent me these. And I also have some of the paint dots that came from Julia at Julia K Art Studio, and she sometimes sends these in when you purchase paints with her. She sends you little sample dots for other colours. So the rules of this challenge are that I am only allowed to use these paints, I am not allowed to mix them, and the only other tools that I have are a water brush and a scrap of paper to either swatch colours out on or to clean the tip of my brush. So that is the parameters that I'm setting myself. So to have a quick look at the colours here, I have Vermilion, Delft Blue and Perylene Green, and out of Julia's paints I have her Pretty Potions selection, which was her Harry Potter inspired themes, and I have a few little extra ones here. I have Vidar, which is a sort of pearlescent green. I have Edun, I think it's pronounced, or maybe Edun, and that is like a pearlescent white with a hint of pink in it. And lastly, one of my favourite colours is this colour here, which is Iris, and it's this really bright turquoise, and I used this recently in a video where I painted in Ticket to Dreams by Karolina Kubikowska. I'll link that video in the end card if you want to see it, because it is a really pretty colour and it works beautifully for petals on a flower. So I do have a range of colours here, so we should be able to get something together. Now, in order to make it challenging properly, I am going to use a random art prompt generator. So if I just show you my phone here, I am using artprompts.org, and I will leave a link to that in the description below for you. The reason I'm covering the screen is there's an advert underneath there and we can't show things like that. But if you scroll past the advert, then it gives you categories to choose from. And all you do is click on the category and then it will come up with one for you, and you can see there's loads of them, and there's also the option to contribute your prompt ideas so that we're all kind of like working together, which is absolutely amazing. So I thought we'll maybe try and do 3, we'll see how we go for time and just see if we can have a bit of fun today and if we can create some art. So the first one I think I want to pick is Creature, because I like to draw animals. So I figured that might be a good place to start and let us warm up a little bit. So if I click on Creature, okay, so the prompt is, oh goodness me, the prompt is part man, part dragon. Well, this will be interesting. Ah, geez, okay, part man, part dragon. So let's get into this little sketchbook and we'll pick a fresh page. Now it's quite convenient because I do actually have some of Julia's colours swatched out here already, so that's helpful. But we're going to go to this side. If we think about colours first of all, I've just got my scrap of paper here. Vidar to me is a very dragony colour, definitely. I'll just get some water going in this water brush. This is just a Milan water brush. I got this in a subscription box and I really like it. So if I take some paint off there, you know, that could definitely be used as a sort of dragon scale type colour, one would think. And we've got some vermilion that could maybe be used for some flames or some fire. We've got the perylene green as well. Let's just see what that looks like. I haven't even swatched these out, so... Oh, that's maybe more of a dragon colour. Oh, that's nice. I like that quite a lot. Oh, okay. okay. And we've got Delft blue. A very rich blue as well. And here is our iris, which is just lovely. I really like that colour. I'm not going to swatch these ones out because, as I say, they're more or less next door in my little sketchbook anyway. Okay, so we think about half man, half dragon. So I'm thinking maybe... Oh, I lied. I'm allowing myself a pencil as well for this. So maybe we need to turn the paper this way. I'm leaning definitely more towards dragon. I don't like drawing people anyway, to be perfectly honest. You know, I'm thinking like maybe we could have like a bottom half in some jeans or some trousers, and then maybe his top half he could turn into a dragon on the top half. We could give him great big horns, and he could have wings. We could have wings and a tail. I don't quite know how the anatomy of this would work though. Yeah, I think we'd still give him arms. Although I'm not quite sure how that's going to work. Maybe they'd have to be sort of mid-length arms. Maybe not like full-length human arms. Oh god, he looks quite demonic. Yeah, he looks more like a demon than a dragon. That's slightly concerning. Okay, maybe I'm thinking too big here. Let's erase this and try again. Oh, this eraser is horrible on this paper. Oh no. Okay, don't use a plastic eraser in this sketchbook, guys. I've actually ruined the paper there. Oh, okay. Okay, I think I'm thinking too big. I think I'm gonna focus on maybe just a face. So perhaps let's start with let's start with like a more human head shape. And we can go from there. Okay, so let's think about this. Maybe we give him some horns. Now he looks like a Viking. And we could give him scales, like in a widow's peak kind of idea. That might work quite well. Maybe give him human eyes. This is going to be one weird looking dude. Yeah, we could give him scales, give him human eyes, or give him human shaped eyes. This is really difficult. Human shaped eyes, but we could give him like serpent pupils. And then maybe we could give him a snout instead of a human mouth. And the nose would kind of flatten out here, wouldn't it? Well, this is exciting. I'm just going to go with this and see what happens. Now, this is just a fun exercise. I do kind of want to give him a jawline though, which is quite weird. Or maybe it's not weird, I don't know. And then, have like a human neck, and then get some shoulders on the go there to make people to indicate that he is in fact human. Maybe we should even put a shirt on him, and we can have some fabric coming down here or something. Wow, he looks strange. I can't help feel but this sort of snout area should be bigger, and then we can maybe give him some teeth. Oh, this is by far. I kind of want to give him like weird eyebrows. I'm kind of getting like Dracula vibes from this. And now he kind of looks like Spock. Oh geez, okay. Okay, I'm gonna lighten this up as much as I can. This paper in this Arteza sketchbook, it doesn't take well to erasing, by using a rubbing motion. I have destroyed the paper on the top part of this, but I really haven't done any sketching to draw on top of it. And generally when I am painting, I tend not to draw, so this hasn't really come up before now, but someone did mention this to me in a comment when I reviewed this sketchbook initially, so there you go. We've got this Veritas serum, which is such a lovely colour. I'll try and put it in shot, that would be really helpful. And I just want to see what this looks like next to some of our other colours, because I think that we should be using this for a really pale skin tone, like have it really washed out. So maybe in here. I'm just going to go for it, guys. Oh, this paper does not like this at all. I think maybe the centre of his snout as well might be this colour. I'm not entirely sure. I'm just making it up as I go along because that's what we like to do. And maybe have a tiny little bit. This is too pale, this side. I was trying to think about light sources, but I still need some sort of colour here, don't I, or else it's going to look a bit weird. I can't decide what he looks like. He doesn't look like an anything. Like, he doesn't look like a human, and he definitely doesn't look like a dragon. But maybe if you add a human and a dragon together, that's what happens, you know. That if you know, it kind of creates almost its own new species. I do like to kind of brain fart things out and just see what happens. And it's something I did when I used to write a lot. I have had short stories published in the past, and it was a hobby that I really enjoyed, but it's something I don't do anymore. I had 2 deaths quite close together, one human, one animal, and after that I found it really difficult to concentrate and sit down and write, and that's really when art took over for me, because it was still like a creative outlet. But I used to go through the same process, you know, and even if I was just like making up a character, you know, if it was just an exercise, I wasn't even writing anything particular. I used to sort of what if and make up stories in my head about, you know, what that character would like to eat for breakfast. You know, the fact that they didn't like the window open when they were sleeping at night. And it's all these little things. If you start sort of extrapolating from that, that's how you really develop things. And I find it no different doing art than, you know, than writing a story, to be perfectly honest. And I do like to make up stories about things when I'm trying to paint or draw something that's not, especially if it's not something that's more ordinary, shall we say. I'll get some of this green down. Can you see where I've damaged the paper there? That mark that's being left, that was from erasing by rubbing. That wasn't intentional. These parts were intentional, but this round the ear was definitely not. Okay, so let's bring this down right here now. I'm trying to avoid his teeth here. I think I'll wait and pick his shirt colour at a later stage. I don't think I'm quite ready for that responsibility yet. Oh, okay, I've got Felix Felicis, which is pretty... Oh, my paint's all bled in together there, dagnammit. The Felix Felicis, which is this nice gold colour, I'm going to use for horns. Okay, here where this is bled, I've just not given it long enough to dry. That's complete impatience and no other reason. That is not a feeling of the paper. That is a feeling of the artist. As I often say, I am not a painter, but I'm also quite impatient as well. So yeah, there you go. So maybe we should make his eyebrows this same sort of gold colour as well. And I think for his eyes, I'm going to go this vermilion. Make this really concentrated. Yeah, he's starting to look a little bit menacing, isn't he? So I have this Delft blue, and I think I'm going to use this as sort of like a liner. That's given me a fairly good starting off point. It just looks as if he's dyed his beard, doesn't he? Now that's interesting, because this paint doesn't want to move on the paper now. Like, you know, when I reactivate it, it's not really wanting to reactivate. Interesting. Okay, we'll just have to work that into the picture. Right, so, where was I going? Yeah, perylene. Okay, perylene. I want to see how dry this is. It feels really dry though. I don't understand why it's bleeding, because it feels dry. Let's go back to the Felix Felicis just for a moment. And I just want to build up some colour around these horns. Try and get that idea of a bit of curvature on the go. Where I've damaged the paper, it's really not picking the paint well off the brush at all. Definitely more devil horns than dragon horns, but okay. And now I want to use the perylene green. Please be dry enough to do this. And I want to start introducing these scales. Oh, that is way too wet. Hooey hooey. There are not going to be any scales. I'm going to have to wait until that's dry. Look how much that's bled, and I thought that was dry. Oh man, maybe if I work on his snout down here. Okay, I'm going to go back to the Veritas serum, and I'm going to start to darken down his skin in various places. I do think I'm going to need a darker line down in here, but I'm going to have to leave it to dry. And the same down the bottom here. This is going to be quite dark along here. And then just try and build up a little bit more colour here. Oh, that's way too much. I'm going to have to spread this out a lot. I'm actually quite reluctant to touch anything now. Right, so I've got this perylene green, and I'm going to work on this area under here. That is bled so far. That is dry. Why is this doing this to me? Oh my goodness me. Oh, and it's just not wanting to spread at all, which is really annoying. I'm getting really annoyed now. Can't do anything. Okay, so we're going to give him some nostrils, and I think what I want to do is take a mixture of the Draft of Peace, which is this really rich dark blue colour here, and I'm going to put that down first, and then I maybe stick a layer of Polyjuice on top of it, which is this really dark rich brown colour, and see what happens. But so I'm not convinced that anything's going to stay put here. Okay, I'm going to try again with the Perylene. He now looks as if he's got leopard spots and not scales, which isn't ideal really. Starting to look like scales maybe. Now he looks like one of those like frogmen baddies that you see in from like a 1970s I don't know, like Captain Scarlet. You know, he's like a reptile man. I suppose dragons must be related to reptiles somehow, you know, somewhere along the line, even though they're mythical creatures. So I'm just continuing on with these scales. I'm going to carry on regardless. I have decided at this point as well that I'm going to add some wings in the background, just so that we know that he's a dragon. And now my water brush isn't playing ball, which is just great. I was going to try and like work this dark patch out, and it's not happening. It's not letting me do it. Got to work with what we've got. So ideally these scale lines would have been lighter than this side. It seems to take a long time to dry on this paper, and I'm quite puzzled by that, I'll be honest. And then up round his ear. I don't think he's going to have scales on his ear. But who knows? Who knows? Yeah, he's quite a handsome fellow. Again, his nostrils have all bled. Like, I'm touching that. There is no way that isn't dry, but it just doesn't seem to want to play ball at all. Now, I'm thinking I might have to even out this ear as well, because you can't see any of that blue colour at all. So I'm just going to go back in with the Vidar, and I'm just going to fill in his ear here. And just let that bleed into that. I might as well build this up a bit more as well. Oh, that's too much. I'm going to take my Delft blue again, and I'm going to try, and I really wanted like a defined line around here. It just seems to go where it wants to go, and I've now got a chipped tooth. Right, okay, I've mixed in a little bit of that green there, and it's just to darken it down. That's much better. That is more the kind of shadow that I was wanting. And if I just do the same here very carefully, I'll head back to my Veritas serum for the time being and see if I can't do something over here. And I'm maybe going to add a tiny bit of this Perylene in along here as well, and then see if I can't maybe blend this out a bit. I think I'm just going to have to accept that this is just a characteristic of this drawing now, or of this painting should I say, that we're going to have these very much unblended bits, and there's bits that, you know, that's bleeding like crazy into the colour that's already there. It kind of pains me that I'm getting on better down here than I was up here. Oh goodness me. I do want some sort of definition here as well, so I'm going to try and bring this down. Okay, I've dried the end of my brush off as much as I can now, and I'm just going to try and bring this up round here and maybe give some sort of definition along here as well. Nothing worse than when you've got a bleeding nostril. I don't even know how I'm going to begin to try and even this up, because if I put this in here, it might just go crazy. I'll just pop that there and see what happens. I'll see what it wants to do itself. Dare I even try and go back up here? And we are going to have to try and get some sort of scales in on this side. I have a feeling that this may have gone better if I had used a traditional paintbrush rather than a water brush. Now I do want a line down here. Again, I'm thinking this is probably going to bleed anyway. Why not? Everything else has. I wanted to give him a bit more definition around this, you know, what would be more like the human nose area, and then maybe try and smooth that out. I just feel as if I'm kind of like clutching at straws here. This is all an adventure. Granted, it doesn't seem to be a very good one today, but I'm learning quite a lot about this about this sketchbook. See, now this just isn't going to blend out at all here. I've got a very... Oh no, there we go. See, there's no rhyme or reason to this at all. Okay, we need to work on the eyes, and this is perplexing me quite considerably. So I think I'm going to stick with the blue here, and I'm just going to try and... I don't know what I'm going to do, to be honest. I just want to try and work in a little bit of depth round about at the top of these eyes, and try and get them as even as possible. So now he just looks as if he's got massive eyelashes because it's all bleeding up the way and out the way. Ah! And using this Polyjuice, I'm going to be really brave here. I want to see how much that's going to bleed in as well. Now I've got this Amortentia, which is this really bright pink colour. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to... Oh, this is brave. Why do I do these things to myself? Yeah, things are already not going well, so let's just make things more difficult for ourselves and try something even more ridiculous. Do you know what? Yeah, I'll take that. His snout is slightly off centre, but I'm frightened to bring this down and round here because I'm just going to be left with a waterline, I think. See, this should really be like this shape down here, and it's just not going to happen. See, the fact that it's not letting me reactivate and blend out the paint that I've already put down is a bit of a problem. Now, my Polyjuice colour, which is the brown colour, is blending out a little bit. I just want to soften that edge a wee bit more. Now if I take some of this Perylene Green again, I'm thinking, you know, like more sort of this sort of shade down here around his eyes. And this seems to be behaving a little bit better. Now see, that is really dark and really rich. See, now I think it's looking decisively effeminate, but I'm not sure that I'm that bothered about that, to be perfectly honest. I think the conclusion that I'm drawing from doing this is that this paper is temperamental and it likes some type of paint better than others. This is a definite conclusion that I am drawing because I seem to get on well with some of the paints and the others not so much. And I was worried that it was just going to be happening here, which was where I'd rubbed with my razor at the beginning, but it's happening everywhere and we have a lot of bleed. Unless it's just a case of that the drying time for this particular paper is really, really long. That might be the case. But I'm figuring I'm going to put some wings in here, or at least a hint of some wings. And they're going to come out from his shoulders like that, aren't they? We'll leave his face alone for a little while, see if we can get it to dry off a bit. And I'll start putting in some colour in his shirt. So let's start up here. As far away from the rest of the paint as possible. I've literally just put that down. Now this is the Schminke paint and it's not letting me manoeuvre it about from almost the second I've put it down on the paper. I have literally just put this down and it's not moving at all. The paint's just not moving. So if I put this down here, I'm going to have to try and just smoosh it about super quick and try and even this out. The other thing that I'm going to try as well is I've just flooded the end of my water brush by squeezing on the barrel, which distributes more water. I'm going to try putting the water down first and just seeing if that helps me any. But let's see what happens now when I pick up the colour and see if it's going to distribute a bit better. It's not particularly mobile, which I feel it should be. And it's buckling the paper something royal. Okay, so I want to pull all this colour out. Man, and look how much it's bled into an area where I have not put any water down. I have not touched that with water, and it's been at least 20 minutes since I've worked on that. And not only that, but it is very warm in the cave today because it is very warm outside, which I know is really unusual for Scotland. But yeah, I'm beginning to think that it's the paper that's the problem, because I have used, especially Julia's paints, I use them all the time and I never have this problem ever. It's given quite an interesting effect to the picture, but when you're working on finer details like a face, it's not really something that you want happening. You know, you want to be able to be reasonably precise, because the whole point of watercolour is the water goes where you put the paint down. It will follow the course of the water, and it's not, it's just doing whatever the heck it wants here. So yeah, okay, and yet when you touch it, it feels dry. Yeah, I'm not very happy right now. I think we're just going to have to make the best of a bad job here. That's kind of the conclusion I've come to. So I'm going to do my best to try and finish this off and make it look reasonable. Again, because I'm a person, I quite like precision. Even when I'm watercolouring and I like doing washes, I do like to be able to have that sort of pinpoint precision and accuracy, and I'm just not getting it right now. Like, I'm really not, and it's beginning to upset me slightly. But this is all about learning lessons. Now, interestingly, the last time I worked in this, I did like a tree study. And I was using my Winsor & Newton professional paints, and I had absolutely no problems with it on this paper at all, in any way, shape or form. So that's quite an interesting thing to note as well. I say it probably doesn't help that I've damaged the paper with an eraser here. So I was going to use the gold, which is the Felix Felicis in the wing area as well. That's one thing you guys know as well. I always show the ugly. You know, it's not a perfect art piece every time. It's not a perfect video. In fact, this is never a perfect video any of the time. But it's really important that you see. And I'm not, you know, I'm not a professional artist, I'm not a particularly experienced artist, but we see so much perfect, beautiful, I mean, some really nice art, especially on YouTube, from some really seasoned artists, you know, that have been painting or drawing or whatever 10 years plus. But even when you get to that stage, you still have things go wrong, you still make mistakes, and you still learn things. And I think it's really important to show those things as part of your journey. Whether you are just beginning, you're in the middle, or you are really experienced. It's all part of a creative process. My water brush is so dry. Oh, come on. And I like to keep things real. So, in terms of the artwork, oh wowee. Now my water brush is way too wet. Love it when that happens. Yeah, so even though this isn't going to be the best art piece, I did restrict myself, but I have learned a lot about the paper in this sketchbook, which is only going to favour me later on. And I have learned that the option is Winsor & Newton professional paints at this juncture, and do not use an eraser on the paper, whatever you do. Even if you don't enjoy or don't like where your picture has gone, it's really important to try and fix things if you're not happy. Even if you don't manage to fix it, it's still a really good learning exercise for you, you know, going through that sort of problem solving aspect. And I can tell you that, you know, I could sit here for another 6 hours and I will not be happy with this, but in trying to sort of remedy things and use workarounds and work with the behaviour of the items that I have, I'm learning something as I go along, and that's quite important for future reference. The house is quite quiet today. Mr. Jem is away helping one of our neighbours. It's that time of year where if you have crops going in, we usually have winter barley and spring barley, and as the name suggests, they are put into the ground at different times. So he's away helping a neighbour with some fertiliser and spring barley today, because that's what we do around here. We all help each other out. Mama Jem, it's her turn on the rota to go to the supermarket, so she is away to get some shopping in for us all. And Papa Jem is outside working. He is fixing some tractors today. So it's kind of more like a normal day in the cave for me. Now I'm imagining the crease of his arm's going to be somewhere in here, so I don't even know if I'm going to bother trying, but I'm going to try and sort of indicate that there might be the beginnings of a sleeve here or something, I don't know. But at this particular point, it's not really a concern, if I'm honest. Maybe put a crease in down there as well. Now, I don't really want this to be smooth. I do want it to be a bit willy-nilly because I want it to have some of the texture of the... I imagine it to be like a cross between tent material, a tarpaulin, and a bit of like flexible leather. That's what I imagine the texture of the inside of dragon wings to be. Now whether that's correct or not, who knows, but that's kind of what I think about when I, you know, because I imagine it would have to be quite flappy, you know, like, or like kite material maybe, I don't know. So there's going to be, you know, it's not going to be perfectly smooth and flat either, I don't think, I'm not sure. Right, I'm going back to the perylene and I'm going to try and put in some shadow in at the back of these wings because obviously these are in behind, and just see how we get on with that. See, that's really, it's so inconsistent. Even using a water brush, I mean, I'm well versed enough with a water brush that I know roughly what I should be doing in terms of, you know, keeping the water flow and the volume of paint loaded onto my brush consistent. And even taking those things into consideration, it's still really uneven. I'm just oh no. That is non-repairable. I think what I'm going to do, just judging by the way that this has turned out, I don't want to put any more paint on this paper because I think anything that I do from this point is just going to make things worse. I am going to let this dry completely and I'm going to come back with a really fine liner and just touch up some of the details, and I think after that it might be at a stage where I'll be happy with it. So I'll be back in a jiffy and we'll see what we can do. Okay, it is a considerable amount of time later and I cannot believe how much bleed has happened. This has been sitting on the windowsill in the cave, so it's been in direct sunlight for about an hour and they're still bleeding all over the place. So what I've got here is, it's a Pigma Micron and it is the 003, which is the smallest nib size you can get, and it's in sepia, it's not in black. If I just hold this up for you, we're talking like mega tiny nib, and this is the size of fine liner that I normally use along with a 005, which is the next one up. I don't want to use black because I think it's going to stand out too much, but I have to do something with this. I can't leave this, like this challenge or not, I'm not happy, and I'm very determined that I would like to see things through to the end. So I'm just going to try and define some of these pieces with like sort of sketchy lines just to try and tidy it up a little bit. That is literally the only reason. And I don't even know where to start. And I'm not going to outline the whole thing either, but I just want to get a little bit of definition and a little bit of closure on some of these areas, because even I have standards. I really do. Oh geez. And I do find that this size of fine liner is very unobtrusive. You know, if you use some of the thicker fine liner nibs, you feel as if you have to go round the entire drawing, and I don't feel that way with these ones. I'm actually going to outline the eyebrows completely. That's about the only part of this entire painting that really did what it was supposed to do and stayed put more to the point. And then maybe under here as well, just put a little bit of hatching in under there. You know, just to help that shadow along a little bit. And then also there's the teeth situation, which didn't end up particularly good either. And again, I just want to sort of define them a little bit more. See, that's made them pop out slightly, that's good. And again, just try and smooth this off here, like smooth off the bleed lines a little bit. Marginally better? I don't know. And then we've got this collar as well. The shirt was quite messy. And seeing as this has turned into quite a loose painting anyway, I'm not overly worried about this. So I do want some sort of shading in here because this should technically be darker. I am slightly happier with this. And I'm going to call it done at that. I hope you have, I don't know whether you're going to have enjoyed this or not. I certainly can say honestly I haven't enjoyed this a huge amount, but I have learned quite a lot from it. And I think that it will set me in good stead for painting in this sketchbook. So the two main takeaways, even if you haven't watched this all the way through, the two main takeaways are, by all means, try an art challenge. In terms of using the paints, you know, the actual original point of this video, I had no problems with just a few colours, and in fact I didn't even use them all in a really bizarre prompt, which is something that I probably wouldn't normally draw, let's be fair. But also that in the Arteza sketchbook, do not use an eraser. Leave a bajillion years for your paint to dry, and even at that there's no guarantee that that's going to be you, and schminky paints really don't like this paper. Anyway, I'll have a little bit of a zoom out, there we go, you can see that a bit better. Overall, for something that I wouldn't normally draw, I'm reasonably happy with it. I think I'll just leave it at that though. I would love to hear your thoughts, not only on the Arteza sketchbook paper, as I say, someone did mention it before and I'm really sorry that I can't remember who it was, but I would also like to hear your thoughts on doing prompts. Is it something you would like to do? If you do want to use the random prompt generator that I have used, as I said before, it's in the description for you as well. So all that remains is for me to say thank you very much for coming to hang out and listen to me mump and moan my way through this one. And we shall see you back in the cave next time for another video, guys. Have a great day, everyone, and bye for now.